Francesca. Hey, congratulations on our hashtag J, or what do they call this film on set for you guys? Do they call it Romeo and Juliet, or do you guys have like nicknames for it?
Yeah, we're calling it Romeo and Juliet. We are. Yeah.
Well, anyways, hey, excellent. Hey, congratulations on this version of Romeo and Juliet.
Thank
How
you.
did it feel that it was being showcased at Sundance, and how was your Sundance experience virtually?
Yeah. It was a great experience. We've been doing a lot of interviews, and the cast has gotten together a couple times, and I've seen some fun films, which has been really nice. Yeah, I think virtually, though we're missing, well, I'm not missing the piles of snow, but we're missing trekking up in that fun little town. We have all gotten together to celebrate, so that's been really great.
That is terrific. So, what initially attracted you to this Romeo and Juliet film?
I'd say initially it was having two people of color in the lead roles. That's not something that I really ever see in my inbox. It's usually we have one white person and one person of color. And it seems to be in this industry, there's like this unwritten or unsaid statement that if we have two people of color together, that it's bad and that it's wrong and that it won't sell. And I think this movie completely blows the lid off of that. And it takes this beautiful story and it puts it in the hands of reality and of the world. And when we go outside and we go look at the people in the world, it's not just white people and it's not just one color of person. And I think it's really incredible that we did get to celebrate it at Sundance as well.
Well, this doesn't just say the diversity of the lead's characters, the diversity of the entire cast, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was really fun. And I love knowing that it was written as well by two people of color. And yeah, that's been great.
Let's talk about your Juliet, because she's much more modernized than the traditional Juliet that we used to or read about or seen in previous movies.
Yeah, I really wanted to bring her into the 21st century. I think if we're going to do another adaptation of a classic story that's been done hundreds of times at this point, we should be bringing something new to it. If we're not, why are we doing it? So I really wanted her to feel authentic and real to what it is to be 17, which is you're hormonal and your emotions are all over the place and you're tumultuous, and also looking at her through this lens of post Me Too and post this surge of Black Lives Matter this past summer, and just seeing her as this independent woman who, she's not quite a woman yet, but she's trying to really make things her own and to really have a grasp on her life and to control her own narrative. And that's not something we've necessarily seen before. I think normally she's played as a very classical, like docile woman, and she's a little bit melodramatic, but it's not being driven by her, especially because Shakespeare is such a male-oriented genre in general.
The movie is fascinating is because it ties into the 21st century, especially with the social media. What do you think about the movie's usage of social media, texting, FaceTime, everything, where basically kind of, how can you say, capitalize or accentuates the issues and problems between the families of Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah, it works so well, really, because if you look at the original story, a lot of their issues came from their parents' issues and came from outside involvement in their relationship. And on social media, everyone's allowed to attack you or not attack you. But that was definitely a driving factor in their own suicidal tendencies. And that's the reality of the world that we live in. It can be really harsh, and kids can be driven to try to commit suicide because of online bullying. So it was really important to highlight that. And I think it really pairs well. Yeah, I'm really happy with the format of it. I think it's a really good update to a very classic story.
I think one of the biggest draw to this was because the production itself, the filming itself was a lot different because we're not just watching it, on a regular screen. We're watching it through, the lens of your phone, through the app, through the text, and all this kind of stuff. So when you were on production, how did you make adjustments to that type of filming? What was the filming like on any, small devices, or it was just basically on camera and then adjusted to small devices?
Yeah, it was just on camera. Except the difference is that it was on a body cam attached to some man, and I was just like carrying him by two handles and whipping him around, and that was really fun. And it was really intimate. And normally there is such a distance between you and the camera operator, and when you're in a room of crewmen and crewwomen, you can kind of feel like you are just putting on this display. But when you have that level of intimacy with what you're doing and with what you're seeing and what they're seeing, it really just makes the connection so much stronger. And I felt like I could put in a lot more of my emotion and of my reality. When I'm crying, I have snot coming out because I have this intimate relationship that I can just let everything go. So that was really great.
So how does the acting actually work? If there's like a camera right in front of you, but you're not actually seeing, your other lead, Cameron, on the other side?
Yes. I think at times we had a monitor that I could peek at, like they would show me just to get the eye line correct. But yeah, most of the time I'm just looking at my own reflection, which is interesting. It's definitely a departure from normal, but you get real comfortable with your own face and it's very human. I think when I first saw it, I was very scared of, oh God, my nose and my hair and my lips. And part of this was social conditioning that anything white is beautiful and anything brown is not beautiful. And I was seeing that reflected back at me. So I was immediately like, oh God, I don't want it. But also just to see this level of humanity that we don't really see, both in their choices and in the actions on the phone, but also just up close. You're in someone's face and you're seeing what it really looks like for them to cry. And sometimes it doesn't look great, or what you're seeing what it looks like when they're in love, and it can look really giddy and alive, and it's so beautiful, and so human.
So how did the director, Carey Williams, actually, guided you through this entire process? How was that experience with you?
Carey was great. He was a very mellow and very emotionally in tune director. Every director has a different style of doing things, and he really just listened to what I needed, and he was very clear with his communication. It was never something nebulous. I was never left questioning, oh God, what did he mean? And maybe I'm making the wrong choice. It was always built on this really great foundation of trust. And I remember in the scene when I was singing, it's like you're just being surrounded by love and by family, because everyone's being really respectful and everyone's quiet. And that was really hard for me to do, because it's singing for this amazing film. And I was like, oh crap. Though I am a professionally trained singer, it was still such a pressure, and I had only 2 takes to do it. And it was very scary. But Carey and the rest of his team really gave this great warm feeling in the room. So I really respect Carey's directing style. I think he's really good at it.
Only 2 takes to do that singing scene.
Yeah.
Doesn't that say about your talent?
Thank you. Yeah, that was after a long day of crying as well, doing crying scenes. And he just wanted 2 takes. And I was like, oh, fuck. Okay. Yep, we're doing it. And we did it. And it worked. So that's amazing.
I think everything worked very well. How was your adjustment to using the Shakespeare language? Because a lot of actors tend to have problems with speaking ye old English and so on, but it didn't seem like you have any problems with this.
Yeah, I think Carey really wanted it to be just kind of off the cuff, like we were just talking like normal people. I personally take no issue with that. I'm not a Shakespeare purist. I don't really subscribe to that rigidness of things. And I really just wanted to bring authentic emotion, humanity to it. But yeah, I think, it could be a controversial choice, and people will have thoughts on the fact that we are just trying to make it so laissez-faire. But again, I think if we weren't doing that, why would we be doing this again for the millionth time if we weren't bringing something new and bringing a new level of humanity to it?
How was your co-star Cameron on the opposite end? Obviously, you guys had excellent chemistry. Did you actually do something before production to develop that chemistry?
Yeah, I think we hung out a couple times. It was a very male set, and I was pretty much the only female there. But Cameron was a lot of fun. And when he was on set, he's just such a goofball. I remember we were filming the scene where we had to put oil on each other's lips, and we just couldn't stop cracking up because you're staring at someone so intensely and smearing oil on their face, and it's very bizarre. But yeah, he was a lot of fun, and he was also just kind of holding this space of let's just be really open and honest and bring ourselves to this and bring all of ourselves to this. And yeah, and he was just really great to work with. Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this your first feature lead in a film?
It is. It is, yeah.
You must be really excited. How was that experience for you? Because out of all the feature leads, I figured this is you just went straight to the fire. This is probably very difficult.
I did. I was really just ready for it. I think as actors, we spend a lot of time waiting, and we spend a lot of time dreaming. And I had spent like 17, 18, 19, 20 years dreaming. And yeah, I was ready to jump into that fire. And I had read Romeo and Juliet actually when I was a teenager. I read it 10 or 13 times, something like that, because I carried it around with me everywhere, and I was obsessed with it. So this role in particular, it meant a lot to me. But yeah, as an actor, I was overjoyed. I think there's no other emotion I could have been. I was just simply very overjoyed.
So you've always been a fan of Romeo and Juliet, then, since you were young.
I have, yeah. I think that's the melodrama of being a teenager, and you love Romeo and Juliet, and it's like, oh, that's my thing, Romeo and Juliet. I think as an adult, I much prefer Midsummer Night's Dream or Hamlet or Othello, or really anything that's not about 13-year-olds falling in love and then dying. Yeah, so I'm a Shakespeare fan for sure.
So hopefully more Shakespeare stuff in the future for you, or you wanted to try to do other things.
I really want to start my own production company. I wanted to do that for a while. I've been writing for a really long time, and I have 2 amazing scripts that I'm so ready to get out there. So that's really important to me. That's, I think, going to be my next big step, because we need more inclusivity in film, and we need more women of color. We need more people of color behind the scenes, in front of the camera. So yeah, and I'm young, and I know that's kind of crazy to have a production company when you're as young as I am, but I'm really driven to get my voice out there.
You know what? Being youthful it's not a disadvantage. It means that you have plenty of time to accomplish your goals. Did you always wanted to be an actress?
I did and I didn't. I think consciously I didn't, but unconsciously I definitely did. I went to music school. I'm a classically trained musician. I went to Bard, and then I went to Berklee College of Music. And I really thought that was going to be my life. I thought I was going to go and be a session musician or a songwriter with like Sony or something. And I was like, that's my goal. But I just found that acting really opened me up in a way that I hadn't been able to access before. And stepping into other people's shoes really made me understand my own. Yeah, I was just really drawn to it. And now that I'm in it, I don't think I'll ever leave. I think I'm very happy here.
But you're still doing a little bit of music on the side, right?
I am still doing a little bit of music. It's much more for me, and it's much more of a therapeutic thing. And I think when I bring my acting out to the world, I can do it for other people, and that's fine. But with my music, I'm very much like, I'm going to make an album, and it's going to be for me. I'm going to play this type of music. That's my thing, and that's really nice to have something that's stable in all the chaos that is the acting world.
Now, speaking of diversity, a lot of people will probably try and be guessing your ethnic background. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Well, I was raised by 2 white lesbians in Woodstock. So I grew up very much in gay culture, in lesbian culture. and in Woodstock culture. And I think I am mixed, and that's how I refer to myself. And I'm kind of coming into this accepting myself as brown. And I think a lot of that is just because I grew up in a very white area, and I had a lot of internalized hate for myself. And I'm still kind of trying to figure out exactly what I am and how I want to claim myself.
And the one thing I do actually have to mention is you do have nice hair. I know you straighten your hair quite a bit during the movie, but
Yes.
you do have lovely
Thank
curls, and you should definitely keep those.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm a fan of the curls. I think we straighten them for time, but oh, am I still here?
Yeah, you're
Yes.
still there.
Okay. Yeah, we straighten them for time, but yeah, I'm definitely so pro keeping my curls in every single role. I don't want them to do anything. I just want them wild and here.
Excellent. Well, Francesca, let me wrap it up with one last question. Hopefully you'll you'll enjoy this question, is because I would have loved to meet you, in Park City in Utah, rather than speaking to you virtually. But because of the crazy times you and I are experiencing right now, because it's, the world has gone bonkers, how are you staying sane and creative during all this time?
Well, I have been writing so much. I wrote one screenplay about a trauma that I went through when I was 17, and then another one that's a post-Civil War alternate reality comedy with sex and drugs, and that's been taking up a lot of my time. But I've also been painting. I'm an oil painter, and I've been painting a lot of nudes. It's been interesting lately, and I've been sewing. I learned to sew, and yeah, I think I'm just really trying to stay busy, as many things as I can do.
That is excellent. Can't wait for everything to open up and to see what your next projects are. Thank you for speaking with me, Francesca, and we'll be like watching your career carefully as you proceed to the next stage.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.